Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu. Inna akramakum mindallahi yatqakum. Inna Allaha alimun khabir. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and aware.
शुरू करता हूँ मैं अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम करने वाला है। सारी तारीफें अल्लाह ताला के लिए हैं और हम सबको उसी की तरफ लौट के जाना है। Broad topic of our discussion today is celebrating our grassroots democracy, nuances of delimitation. I am grateful to all the friends who are present here and I have joined this webinar. On the screen, I will like to introduce to you Mr. Irfan Beg, who is Secretary General of Zakat Foundation of India, who is joined from Delhi, and Mr. Mike Ghaus, Dr. A.R. Nakadar, Mr. Syed Patel, Mr. Syed Ali Rahman, Dr. Aslam Abdullah, Professor Tariq Haqqi, Dr. Syed Parvez Ashraf, and Mr. M. Sanamullah Khan. I'm grateful to all the friends who have found time to attend this important webinar today. I would request kindly keep posting your questions and suggestions in the chat box, and our colleague Mr. Irfan Beg will noting them down along with your name, please, and we will inshallah respond to these after this presentation concludes. A little bit about our introduction. Zakat Foundation of India, those who are not aware, was established in 1997 and was registered in 2004 onwards as charitable trust under Income Tax Act of India, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of India, in the Niti Aayog, which was earlier the Planning Commission, and under the Juvenile Justice Act of India, because we also run facilities for children. The works which the Zakat Foundation of India does can be vertically divided into two categories, micro and macro. So the micro works which we have been doing, some of these are mentioned here. We run orphanages, daycare centers, medical centers, tailoring institutes for poor girls, widows monthly ration distribution scheme, then poor girls marriage scheme, students' fees, and disaster relief. I'll very quickly give some glimpses of such works. These are happy homes. All our orphanages are known as happy homes, happy home girls. Daycare centers are for the children of those laborer class who husband and wife work daily from morning till evening, and they have small children who nobody takes care of, so we take care of them. We have medical centers, many places known as mercy homes. We have tailoring and knitting institutes for poor girls, then widows ration distribution, and disaster relief programs across India. So these were micro works. Now, the other category of our works is macro works. Macro works includes running of coaching institute for civil services, coaching institutes for subordinate services, Judicial Academy, Waqf Academy, Institute of Imams and Khatibs, Iqbal Academy, Minority Schemes, Paropkar, and Hajj Fund of India. The Paropkar is, we do different kinds of works so that people are helped, like making them voters, taking care that their name, if it has been removed from the voters list, to put it back there, etc., etc., these kinds of works. These are some glimpses of this is one of the civil services batch, earlier batches here. And these are the subordinate services library here, Waqf properties, we keep on organizing national events. These are institutes of imams and khatibs, what they should speak and what they should not speak on Friday. And this is the Iqbal Academy event. And this is Paropkar work, which recently we have focused on helping out those people who are affected adversely due to Corona pandemic. The Hajj Fund of India, really for purposes of utilizing Hajj savings during the run-up to the performance of Hajj. And how do we go about it? It is mentioned in 11 languages on the website of India, of the Zakat Foundation of India. We also published books. These are our coffee table books, Taj Mahal's Spiritual Message, then Jahan-e-Makafat, 21st Century Indian Muslim Renaissance, and Restoration of Representational Justice. These are the books. And Urdu books include Paikar-e Zindagi, Nishat-e Saniya Ki Justuju, and Khud Aa Gayi. English and Hindi articles we keep on publishing. So for carrying out these missions, friends, over the last quarter century, ZFI has banked upon 90% plus on resources within India. So dear friends, it's time for us to think of upcoming generations. And we are welcoming our upcoming generations to the world of awakening under challenging circumstances. God has blessed us with born capabilities to play a useful role in ameliorating the plight of the less blessed. God seems to have chosen us to comprehend the current project assigned to us in India and the world and work to retrieve the situation and reverse the trend. We should properly diagnose the malaise and try to change the course of stream through long-term benevolent intervention. We should recapitulate that what is the purpose of creation of humanity. According to 11.7 in the Holy Quran, the purpose is that so that God judges us as to who amongst us is more helpful to the fellow human being, utilizing the personal resources which each one of us has been blessed. So long-term solution. What is the long-term solution? It is empowerment through well thought out, systematic institutionalization. Friends, we need to illuminate the nerves of our ummah. We are aware that Justice Sachar Committee report, its findings say that in nutshell that Muslims are lagging behind all others in every field of development. And the reason which the committee told us was that Muslim underrepresentation in India's governance, that thorough underrepresentation of the community is in India's governance. Friends, we are aware that 90% plus governance is done through the civil services. And that I can tell you after having served the government of India from district level up to the Prime Minister's office for more than 3 decades. That is why after the Sachar committee report was submitted and everything was in the open, what all committee had to offer, the Zakat Foundation of India started a new project which turned out to be its flagship project, and that is Sir Syed Coaching and Guidance Center for Competitive Examinations. It was established in 2007. During this period, I have personally conducted 40 in-person orientation programs across India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, no state left. Plus, during the last 2 years of pandemic, I have also conducted 12 online orientation programs, so that there is no dearth of very able and very competent, academically bright boys and girls in the community. But we have to identify and reach out to them and motivate them and tell them this is the reality and you can do it. It's very fair game. So that's what we have been doing. These are some of the glimpses of some of the programs that I have addressed. And of course, after the coaching for 1 year, regular coaching, classroom coaching is given. And those who succeed for interview, they are put to mock interviews by our own team. Here you can see some of them. Apart from me in the panel, Mr. Talmiz Ahmad, who has been our permanent representative in the United Nations and then ambassador to many countries. And there's one Director General of Police and one former retired Secretary to Government of India, Mr. Rajasthan. So like that, we have about 25 of sitting and serving and retired officers and academics who constitute our panels. This is a glimpse of selected candidates year after year. Alhamdulillah. We have been organizing programs to felicitate them. And you'll be happy to know that between 2008 and 2021, 174 of our boys and girls have joined various civil services, IAS, IPS, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Revenue Service, etc. And you will also be happy to know that during this period, the percentage, the representation of Muslims in the civil services has risen from 2.5 to 5 plus. Alhamdulillah. But we are all aware that according to the census figures of 2011, the percentage of Muslim community in India is 14.2%. So, ye dil mange more. Alhamdulillah, you will again be very happy to know that ZFI's Sir Syed Coaching and Guidance Center for Civil Services new permanent campus is ready on 3 acres of land. This was the original plan, which we have already constructed most of it. So this is the academic block, which is already ready. For 95%, it is ready for use. That's the one. Academic block, it's a little glimpse from inside. And the hostel, first hostel of 180 boys and girls. Of course, it has to be vertically divided with different exit and entries for the time being. So it's ready, inshallah. We are going to use these facilities from the next session. That's it. That is the boys and girls who are selected by us in 2022, inshallah, will live there. The land for this was donated by Maulana Mahmood Madani Saab, Chairman Sheikhul Hind Trust. He also happens to be the president of Jamiatul Ulama Hind. May Allah keep him blessed. And the investment which has been done in the construction so far is rupees 15 crores, which equals $2 million, all raised within India. We have also begun from last year Sublime Judicial Academy, and the first batch is almost completing its coaching, and they will start appearing, inshallah, in various state judicial services. For provincial subordinate services, online coaching is being conducted from ZFI's Lucknow unit. During the pandemic, continuous online classes are being held, several batches every day. For Central Staff Selection Commission, coaching is going on in ZFI's Bahraich unit. That is the ZFI's Bahraich unit. ZFI's Competitive Examinations unit is also working in Bhopal at the premises allotted to us by Madhya Pradesh State Waqf Board. Within its premises, a double-story building, separate building has been allotted to us, and it's working, Alhamdulillah. That is the building. In Kolkata also, the Muslim Institute, which is established there in 1902, the ZFI is beginning its coaching program now. So, friends, you will kindly appreciate and that, Alhamdulillah, one threshold of empowering the Ummah has been reached to some extent. One threshold, I would say. So now, friends, we need to launch flagship project number 2. That is how we have assembled here today. And that pertains to electoral constituencies and wards. As per the Constitution of India, the boundaries of the wards and constituencies have to be changed every 10 years in the light of census. There is decennial census happening every 10 years. So in the light of the figures that are published wherever required. And in fact, practically it's done everywhere in all the wards, all the constituencies. The boundaries are changed after every 10 years. That process is known as delimitation. It's a constitutional concept and constitutional terminology. In Hindi, we call it pariseeman, and in Urdu, we call it hadbandi. For the last more than 8 years, ZFI has been running in its head office a delimitation cell, which has been continuously working. And as a result of that hard work, 8 years of research, the report of data is ready with us. That is a glimpse of the report. So what we have assembled here for today. Friends, this delimitation is the cornerstone of democracy, dividing a municipal territory into electoral wards. That is what is meant by delimitation. Of course, not only municipal territory, but also the state as well as the Lok Sabha constituencies. But here we are focusing on electoral wards at the local level. Why? I'm going to tell you very shortly. So in order to, the purpose of delimitation, to balance the population among electoral wards. The process of delimitation takes place every 10 years as per published figures of the census. Boundaries of wards and constituencies are modified if required to take into account changes in population as per census figures. What are the benefits of delimitation? It promotes citizens' participation. It ensures citizens' fair and balanced representation. It allows the councillor to develop better knowledge of fellow citizens within the ward. And also citizens are better able to identify with their representative. Friends, there are two levels of delimitation, as I mentioned to you. Macro delimitation. This is my division, my categorization. Macro delimitation consists of Lok Sabha and assemblies. But any changes in the boundaries of the constituencies of Lok Sabha and assemblies has been frozen through a constitutional amendment till the census figures of 2031 are published. Okay, so that's why, that was the reason I am now focusing on local wards. So micro delimitation is happening continuously every 10 years. And as I'm talking to you, it's happening in many states. In Hindi, there is a good terminology, collective term, Sthaniya Nikay. In any other language, I have not come across any such term for local bodies. But in any case, they consist of municipal board, municipal corporation, town committee, Zila Parishad, Panchayat, Gram Sabha, etc. in both rural and urban areas. Delimitation has to be done as per laws and rules. It's not that anybody can do anything. And you will be astonished to know that the number of local bodies in India is 283,530. This is as per Government of India figure given on its website. You can log in lgdirectory.gov.in and you will reach there. And if we suppose that every local body has 20 wards, to multiply it by 20, so there are more than 5 million wards in India. And that is the place where through the local bodies were very well empowered and made independent. So the enlightened civil society should keep an eye on the implementation of these laws and rules. Why can't a leopard hide? Because he is always spotted. So we have to take care of that. The leopard is spotted, but we have to make sure that it is not able to hide. The civil society should know laws and rules. let's have some idea of the rules. Okay, to introduce you to the subject. For example, one rule which holds good across India for delimitation purposes is that the population per ward should be fixed to a certain number. For example, it can be fixed in some place, in some state as 8,000. At 8,000 population, there will be a ward. Okay. So while making wards, there should be maximum 10% plus or minus, not more than that. Even for that 10% plus and minus, there has to be reasons to be recorded in writing. Another rule is that there should be no railway line passing through. I'm just giving you some ideas. They should remain within an administrative unit. If one ward should remain whole of the ward, it should not be distributed in more than one administrative units. Administrative unit means that a Tehsildar's jurisdiction is one administrative unit. A block development officer's jurisdiction is one administrative unit. So these are the rules. They are fine. The rules are very good, by the way. Reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes should remain confined to their high concentration wards. Highest concentration wards, only those wards have to be reserved for scheduled castes. This is the law of delimitation, etc. There are many others, but then I just wanted to give you an idea. If you would like to have details, then you kindly visit the website zakatindia.org. There on home page, in the top bar, please look for delimitation and click that. Then you will reach this page. Here you can see from 1 to 7, but actually there are more than 50 items mentioned there. So any state, if you would like to know what are the rules of delimitation of wards and other constituencies in every state, so you can click and find out. Otherwise, you can do your own research also through Google. So how it works, how Parisiman or delimitation works. Consider a local body as a pizza. So the slices of the pizza are the municipal wards. And you are seeing here how nicely and beautifully and symmetrically these slices are cut. So that is the beauty, that is what the law and the rules require. But at the ground level, that's not happening. What is happening at the ground level is this uneven slicing. That is the crux of the matter, why we are discussing and assembling here today. Uneven slicing. In the United States, you would be aware this is known as gerrymandering, uneven slicing. And the pizza cutter in this case is the district magistrate, who is also the district election officer. He has a full-fledged election cum delimitation office, every DM under his control. And that office does the work, DM looks at it, approves it, then sends it to the state government where it is finally approved. The issue is of faulty delimitation of electoral constituencies of parliament and state assemblies and of electoral wards in the local bodies like municipal corporations, Zilla Parishads, village panchayats, etc. Friends, Article 51A says that this is a fundamental duty of every citizen of India to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. So this is what we are supposed to do, each one of us, has to perform this fundamental duty, spirit of inquiry and reform. And thankfully, you will be very happy to know, I'm very happy to report that ZFI has been listened to and has been held by district election officers, state election commissioners, Election Commission of India, high courts, and Supreme Courts. We have been doing this work at the ground level for the last 8 years, but we do not talk too much about it. Friends, what is the opposite of ironing? Wrinkles. So if we do not iron out our wards and constituencies, there will be wrinkles. In the shirt, the wrinkles only looks bad. But what happens in the constituencies and wards? A wrinkled electoral unit damages the spirit of our constitution. ZFI has been making, Alhamdulillah, very successful interventions. Like when UP was bifurcated into Uttarakhand and UP, at that time, the Election Commission of India came up with a notification saying that we are going to do this. A notification said that. In that, they said that they were going to reserve Saharanpur for scheduled castes. Saharanpur has very small percentage of scheduled castes, hardly 2-3%. But the Muslim population in Saharanpur is 45% as per government statistics. So we made a case and we filed our objection. Because of our objection, the entire commission, including the CEC, went to Saharanpur. They held the court there, and our arguments were heard and documentation were submitted. And Alhamdulillah, the election commission said that we were going to reserve Saharanpur, but ZFI's intervention is well founded. And so they did not do that. Instead of that, we gave them some alternative list. Out of that, they reserved one constituency where scheduled caste population is very high. Similarly, it happened in Bombay, Greater Bombay Municipal Corporation, where 1 year before 2017 election, we gave a 10-page notice and we served under RTI to the state election commissioner. And we said, these are the 30 wards where your rules are being violated. And you'll be happy to know that in all the 30 wards, they changed the delimitation as per our wishes. And the result was heartwarming. In 2012, there were 23 Muslim corporators elected. But after this intervention, in 2017, 30 Muslim corporators were elected, an addition of 30%. Same thing happened in the Municipal Corporation of Delhi also in 2016 and 17. I can tell the details, but I'm not taking too much of time here. And in Aurangabad Municipal Corporation, the matter is now going on. The state government did not listen to us. The state high court also did not listen to us. And we went to the Supreme Court, and Alhamdulillah, the Supreme Court said, yes, there is a prima facie case, as pointed out by ZFI, and they gave notice to the state government and stayed the elections. And you will be very happy to know that I have given you some instances, and there are so many others also. Continuous work is going on, and no attempt made by us has brought zero result. So it is full of promise. So just to give you an idea that the blue center is a Muslim predominant constituency, and it is surrounded by many other constituencies. But we intervene where this situation obtains, where for carving out the wards and constituencies, the Muslim ward or the Muslim constituency is bifurcated. So but this is against the rules. So we do not talk in terms of Muslims or Hindus. We talk in terms of violation of rules only. When we point out, it is straightened like this. Just to give you an idea. Friends, the Constitution of India in Article 243T says that the seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes should be allotted by rotation to different constituencies in a municipality. I'm giving you another very important aspect of what is happening at the ground level, why our intervention is required. For similar rule, constitutional provision for panchayats, rural areas, you can see section Article 243D. So 243T says that the scheduled castes reservation should be rotated in different wards of the municipality. Okay. But then anything that the Constitution says has to be implemented through the medium of some laws which have to be made by Parliament and the rules which are made at different levels. Okay, so it's not that there is no blanket power. The people who have to do this are bound by laws, rules, regulations, rationale, and judicial interpretations. And also, mind you, the reservation is given to the deprived scheduled castes and scheduled tribe people. Reservation is given to the people, not to a hollow space, not to a geographical area. It is given to the people. We have to mind that. That's a constitutional intention. And now I take you to Delimitation Act. It's very important. Each one of us should know this. Delimitation Act, Section 9(1)(c) says that constituencies in which seats are reserved for scheduled castes shall be located in those areas where the proportion of scheduled caste population to the total is comparatively large. These are the specific wordings of the Constitution. What? Comparatively large. The SC population proportion to the entire state should be comparatively large. Okay. Now I have to take some of your time to explain this to you. See, I'm showing you two flowers. They are of same kind, but they are of different sizes. And you can clearly make out if I ask you which one has comparatively large mass or weight or appearance. It's very easy to know this. Similarly, if there are three, then still one can make out that this one is the largest. If there are four, we can make out. So if there are many, like for example, you can say 30 watts in a municipal corporation, then it's not a rocket science to find out which are those wards jiske liye the Constitution is saying that it can be rotated. If we have to reserve one ward, so it should be ideally rotated between A, B, C, and D, which where the scheduled caste population is comparatively largest. Actually, comparatively large works out to the largest. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Actually, when we started this work, then we were under the impression that a little bit of work is required to be done, we'll do it. But then मुझे मुस्तफी का वो शेर याद आ रहा है कि मुस्तफी हम तो ये समझे थे कि होगा कोई हम तेरे दिल में तो बहुत काम रफू का निकला. I was expecting to repair a minor wound, but this heart needs major patchwork. That's why I thought I should trouble all of you. So this is you can in isolation whenever you are at leisure, you can read very carefully Section 9(1)(c) of the Delimitation Act. So the crux of the matter is that the earmarking of electoral constituencies for scheduled castes are faulty, and there is need for corrective measures. And this matter I had brought up before Mr. Narendra Modi also, when we had met in Ahmedabad some years ago. And of course, he had noted it, but then all of us have to request him together to do it. This is just, I'm giving you a visual impact because we are not publicizing the figures of our research for the last 8 years, for the time being, for obvious reasons. But here I would like your kind attention. Here, there are shades of scheduled caste presence in the state. So the intensity of the redness of the spot tells how much scheduled caste percentage is there. So very light pink, hardly any percentage. White, no scheduled caste. Keep on increasing the intensity of the redness of the square and go to the maximum redness, in fact, almost blackness. This is maximum, okay? So that you will be able to appreciate the next slide. So constituencies, for example, we can say that those which have 30% or more scheduled caste presence are constituencies or wards A. Similarly, between 20 to 30 B, 10 to 20 C, 5 to 10 D, and 5% or less is E. So reservation should happen in A. 30 plus. Okay, that is the ideal thing. If we have to implement the constitutional provision of rotation, it can rotate to B or C. Very rarely it can rotate even to D. But reservation should not happen in E. That's very obvious. That's the constitutional intention. But you will be very unhappy to know that for reservation, A is being ignored and it is widely happening in E. That is what is happening at the ground level. This I am again not bothering you with full details, but I am giving you a visual impression that in the last column at the bottom, you will see some yellow portions. So wherever you can see yellow, these are the wards which have been reserved for scheduled castes, okay? And these columns of 3 different colors, they indicate 3 successive elections, okay? So during the last 5 years in this particular corporation, these figures have been collected and the wards are listed here in the descending order of scheduled caste percentage, which means that the highest scheduled caste percentage are on the top. Those which are mentioned on the top, they have highest scheduled caste percentage. And slowly descending, and at the bottom, you will go and see that those which have hardly any scheduled caste presence. But you will see the wards which are reserved are at the bottom. And the top one, about 15% top ones where there is highest concentration of scheduled caste have never been reserved. What is the purpose being achieved out of that? That I will leave to your imagination. Now, one more thing, I have to bring it to your attention because all of us, mashallah, are very educated and very concerned citizens. I had just now mentioned to you Delimitation Act section 91C and D, which says that comparatively large in the case of scheduled castes, and in the case of scheduled tribes, the act clearly says it should be the largest. Where there is largest presence of scheduled tribes, that only should be reserved. But the case which we have filed before the Supreme Court, in that the Maharashtra government, Maharashtra government is saying that the contention, that is a defies contention, is based on wrong assumption that in wards reserved for scheduled castes or scheduled tribes, voters should be predominantly scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. He is submitting something to the Supreme Court against the Delimitation Act. You can imagine what's happening at the ground level. Similarly, there is an act which has been passed by the state government in Maharashtra, which says that the state election commissioner shall ensure that seats are reserved by rotation in different wards in the municipal area so that all the wards get the benefit of such reservation. The state law is giving reservation benefit to all the wards, while the central law is saying only those wards should be reserved where there is highest percentage of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So the law passed at the state level itself is faulty. That is also what we have gone in against in the Supreme Court. We can't imagine a contradiction. So the constitutionally visualized rotation cannot be imagined to be flowing freely. The rotation must necessarily be within the framework of the Delimitation Act. And Honorable Supreme Court needs to say it in so many words. Perhaps that's why they have issued the notice. There is one very important catch here, because the reservation has been later given even to women. So in every section of society, in every geographical area, both the male and female genders are available, more or less in equal proportion. But the proportional spread of castes and tribes is not the same everywhere. In fact, it is quite disproportionate. This is the reason why Section 91C and D of Delimitation Act provide for special treatment for selection of constituencies and wards for reservation based on caste and tribes. Okay, this is an important thing to do. And inshallah, if Supreme Court listens to us and gives its verdict, it will be a game changer across India. So, friends, we are in 2021. We have not only to think of 2021, but we have also to think of 2121. That is 100 years from now, 2221, 2321. Then also we will have our great motherland, and we will have our great people, and we will have our great ummah. So what we do today and do not do, that will decide what kind of the society we are going to have in future. So there has to be at least 100-year plan. Plan of what? The way forward. We have thought a lot about it, and we have been working for about a decade also in this field. So we have thought of a twin strategy to deal with this matter. One, we should have a delimitation academy, because this is a subject which needs to be told, researched and told to those people who will be interested in working for it, volunteers or paid. And you will be happy to know that under the Garth Foundation of India, we have recently established the Delimitation Academy, and Mr. Wasimul Haq, who retired as Principal Chief Commissioner, has begun working as its director. Second, what we have to do, one more thing. Academy is there. We can tell these are the rules, these are the regulations, this is what should be done, this should, what should not be done, etc. But who will do it? So magical works have been done so far by these two gentlemen who are devoted to the delimitation works in the Zakat Foundation of India. Continuously are paid employees, they are working for this, and they are very well versed in their works. I salute them, in fact. But the issue is that they have only 4 limbs each. So we need to have, friends, a cadre of delimitation officers. You might be thinking, some of you, that I'm talking of the sky, but then kindly note that we started talking of the sky in the field of civil services about 12 years ago. And Alhamdulillah, sky has been reached. So inshallah, with your good wishes and with your support and cooperation, we will inshallah handle this also. And each one of these delimitation officers has to be paid high salary. Otherwise, sooner or later, they will run away for greener pastures. And they have also to be given a house, because once we equip them with the knowledge and expertise and professional knowledge and expertise, then we should make all the effort to ensure that they do not go from us. They do not go for any other option, or at least it is minimized. So if we give them house also, then they will stay. Of course, they have to be very highly intellectual, academically oriented people and hardworking people of integrity. Of course, all that has to be taken into account. For that purpose, we need to set up a corpus fund. If we depend upon payment of salary month to month or year to year, charity or donation, that will not work. Those of us who have anything to do with the AMU, there is a duty society where the corpus was created maybe 100 years ago. But the usufruct of that corpus is used for giving scholarships. So some sort of that arrangement has to be done. You will be happy to know that the Zakat Foundation of India, as I said in the beginning, it has all the registrations of the government, including the FCRA account in the State Bank of India, Parliament Street in New Delhi, which is now the mandated branch for all FCRA account holders. And for the last 9 to 10 years, we are also registered separately under the Charity Commission for England and Wales as the Zakat Foundation of India International. In USA, ZFI has been having a decade of partnership with an organization which is known as One World Children's Fund, based in California, One World Children's Fund. And we have been very happy and very robust relationship. But pandemic has taken them over. Now they too got pandemic bitten. They told us that they had 22 members of the staff, but now they have only 2. So they practically shut down their international operations. We thought that we should have belief in Allah when He says, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Surely with hardship comes ease. So we are under mandate to find opportunity out of every difficulty. So ZFI took it as a blessing in disguise, and we activated ourselves here in USA. And Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to inform you that now Zakat Foundation of India, Inc. has been formed as a 501c3 nonprofit. So friends, let us put our heads together to mull over the way forward. And I'll stop here so as not to burden you too much in this maiden interaction on this subject. And let us have an open house. Shakti bhi shanti bhi bhakton ke geet mein hai. This is Allama Iqbal. Dharti ke baasiyon ki mukti preet mein hai. This is all what we have to do within the 4 corners of the Constitution of India. Let's light our candles together. Wa akhir da'wana. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
बहुत ही informative session था. Very wonderful. Or you are doing great work. I've been following you for the last 10, 11, 12 years. Means following you meaning following your work and Zakat Foundation of India's successes, like you said, in the IAS and everything else. So I am the first-hand witness. May Allah reward you and help you. And inshallah, whatever is possible, we will do it in US.
I, Irfan Beg, on behalf of ZFI, would like to thank all panelists, including Mr. Syed Ali Rahman, Professor Tariq Haqi, Dr. Syed Parvez Ashraf, Mr. Mike Qaus, Mr. Aftab Ahmed. We would also like to extend thanks to all the attendees for their kind participation and looking forward for more constructive deliberation and support in time to come. I once again thank all of you. May God bless all of us.